Good morning, my friends. Well, it's Tuesday, and you know what day that is. It's Senior 30% Off Day at the thrift shop. And guess who's not there yet? Well, hopefully maybe this afternoon I'll get there. I am kind of dressed for it, but today I'm going to answer a lot of the questions about, you know what, ladies? Facelift, high eyebrows, skin, Vaseline. There have been so many questions about my Moosey, how he got his name, about our family and children, and people are trying to get to know us. And as one of our viewers said, my mom told me that you never know anybody until really you hear their story. And I agree with you. So I encourage you, we have 416 videos that we've done in about 3.5, almost 4 years. And if you go back, you will see that I've pretty much told you a lot about ourselves. I've bared my soul on a lot of things, my thinning hair, my pink scalp, my dry skin. And you all have to get to know all these names. I feel everybody knows the family, the names of the grandchildren, the great-grandchildren. And I'm sorry, I assume that you all know. But it's just going wild here on Nanny and the Moose, and we are so appreciative. I'm welcoming you all to this great, big, wonderful family of ours and this positive attitude about pro-aging, the only way to go. So stay tuned and we'll begin now. Okay, so here we go. Let's start with Moosey. Moosey got his name probably in kindergarten. He was always a very tall boy, and one of his best buddies, who by the way is still a great buddy, he was in our wedding and everything, Andy gave him the nickname Moosey because Andy was short and Moosey was very tall, and he thought Moosey was as big as a moose. And Moose, now I call him Moosey, his buddies don't call him Moosey, they call him Moose. And that name stuck with him. His brothers and sisters call him that. All our grandchildren call him that. And great-grandchildren call him that. As a matter of fact, funny story, rabbit hole story coming. We were up at our home in Big Bear Lake years and years ago when one of our grandsons, Billy, little Billy, was about 3 years old. And Billy and his dad, Bill, our oldest son, and Moosey were out fishing in the boat. There was a tournament going on. And a lot of men were out on the lake very early, and then they all gathered down at the docks to see who had gotten the biggest fish and so forth and so on. And somebody came up to little Billy and said, "Oh, is that your grandpa?" And little Billy said, "No, I don't have a grandpa. He's my Moosey." And we thought that was cute and funny. He learned later on that he was a grandparent. So that's the story on Moosey. When I first met him, I called him Bill. We were in college. And then he said, "Call me Moosey." So I started calling him Moose. Call me Moose. And when we got engaged, which was after we had graduated right before Christmas, he was now in the Army at Fort Knox, Kentucky, and I was writing letters every day. And I felt that since I was now formally engaged to him, that I should really call him by his real name, Bill, that I should call him by his real name, Bill. But he said, "No way, continue to call me Moose." So I vacillate one or the other, depending on how mad I am at him. If I'm angry, I call him Bill. And by the way, the same with me. I get the double name when he's angry at me and wants to get my attention. It's Mary Ellen, because normally it's Sweetie or Mer or Mersey or something cute. So that's the scoop on the name. Now, Debbie, she got her name. She has a beautiful name, Mary Eileen Monahan. And I loved that name. I had a little girl that I was teaching at the time down at Fort Knox, and it was in 2nd grade, and she was Mary Eileen. I thought, what a beautiful name. So we named her that. And when she was born, our first Billy, was 14 months old when she was born. And as he started to talk, within a few months, he would look at the bassinet and I would say, oh, cute baby sister, baby sister. And he would try and say baby sister, and it came out ba-dubby-doo, ba-dubby-doo, which eventually became Dubby or Dubby-doo or Dub. And that's her name, even professionally. She's a CEO of the foundation of a large hospital, and her name is Dub. It's good because sometimes people can't figure out whether she's a man or a woman when they just get her card. So it works for her both ways. So that's the scoop on that. Now let's talk about children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren, and why sometimes I can't get everything done in the time that I'm supposed to do it. Moosey and I have 6 children. We were married in 1960, and I couldn't wait to have this huge family. In fact, I would never have married any man if he didn't want a very large family. I wanted to be a teacher and have a big family by the time I was 3 years old. Now, I know most people don't know what they're going to do even when they're in college. A lot of our own kids didn't know that. But I knew, and thank God, we were blessed with what I thought I wanted in life. And by the way, it's all about choices. What you choose and how you choose it based on your values and how you want to live. That's the way I've lived and continue to live that way too. Now, their names are, the firstborn is Billy Jr. Then we have Dubby, or Mary Eileen, she's a year younger. And then we have the next pair of kids, Matthew. Matthew was born shortly, well, a year and a half after Dubby. And then came Margie a year and a half after that. We wanted the children all together really fast. And although I had these huge babies, 10, 11, Mikey was even 12 pounds, I still was ready to get in there. I nursed them all too. Maybe this is too much TMI. But then we had the opportunity to move to Scotland. Moosey was working for a large firm in New York City at the time, and he was in finance. They wanted him to go over there. So we thought, okay, let's take these 4 babies that we have and have a wonderful time. And when we come back, we'll get busy again. Well, we came back in 3 years, and it didn't start happening for a while. And then we had Mikey and Colleen, the last pair. Each boy is a year older than each girl. And they were born about 8 or 9 years after our younger Margie. So that's the scoop on kids. And then it started with grandchildren. We were actually in our mid-40s when our first grandchild was born. And we have 20 grandchildren. We're so fortunate to still be alive, that God has seen fit to keep us here to enjoy all these children. And now we have 13 grandchildren, and just enjoying everyone. And we are just so blessed. So that's the scoop on family. Now, I want to say, all of you who know all this and who've been with us for so long, I'm so sorry. I hope this doesn't turn out to be boring. I'm trying to do this quickly, mainly because I have been trying to answer questions. This is why I'm doing this. When I want to personally answer questions, and I've had so many questions in the comments that I'm spending full days answering comments, and hopefully this way I'm trying to get ahead of the game with all our new people who we welcome. And I don't mind the questions at all, believe me, I don't mind them at all, but it's so much easier to do it this way, and it gives me more time for Moosey and what I have to do around here and me. Now let's talk about Vaseline. As you know, well, that's what's happening right now. My video that is 463 days old has just gone viral right after the other one. And my kids are calling saying, what's happening to your channel? Thank you all for all your interest in everything. Obviously, you were all binging, and somehow that slugging video that was done a year and a half ago has been the one that's blowing up right now. And you all have questions about Vaseline. Some of you have opinions about Vaseline. Now, I'm going to start with the fact that I've been using Vaseline face, body, hands. So did my mom, my grandma. 1859 it was invented. I don't want to be the authority on this. I'm not a dermatologist. So I'm going to refer you to research and to doctors. I just want to tell you that Moosey had some dermatology surgery about a month ago, and he had 5 wounds altogether, 2 different times. And the doctors prescribed Vaseline on the wounds until they healed. And by the way, they healed beautifully. It is a triple refined version of petroleum. It's called petrolatum, and it's safe. But don't take my word for it. But I don't want to talk about it anymore because everybody has questions about it, or they have a comment that is very different from what I feel about it. So, okay, you all have said a lot about my hair. Most of you love it. You like the updos. You realize now that I do have very thinning hair, and I'm trying to give you all these little hints on how you can do things with your hair, mainly with some creativity and some illusions and dry shampoo. I live by my dry shampoo. Now, some of you have said, no, dry shampoo is not good for you. Tresemme had a recall. I think they've taken care of it because Tresemme was on the shelf just a couple of weeks ago again. So I use that. I also use Not Your Mother's dry shampoo thing, and I swear by it. You rub it into the roots, and then you bring it out a bit, and then you rub. Gets a little wet, and it just volumizes up. So it's my best friend, one of them, and keep going there. Now, many of you have suggested that because I have thinning, sparse hair, to get a pixie cut or to have layers cut or so forth and so on. I have had my fill of pixies, and I love them throughout the years. You have to remember, I'm almost 87 years old. I had a lot of pixies when I was younger, maybe not so young, in my 40s, and I loved it. I had a big head of hair. It was wavy, and I could put my fingers through it, and I'd get that duck cut in the back. It was thick. It was wonderful. But now I don't want it. Number one, it would be too much maintenance. And the same with layered hair. You have to work on it every day to get it right. And I learned a lot of this recently from a man that does talk about hair all the time. Maybe you've watched him. His last name is Hickox. And maybe John, I forget the first name. But he says this about short hairdos, short bobs and things. It takes maintenance, and I really don't have the time to spend on my face. It's just not something I want to do. I've been there, done that, so I'm keeping my hair all one length, and probably will cut it a little bit shorter. I cut my own hair, I have for years, cut Moosey's hair, everybody's hair. And I'll cut a little shorter maybe for the winter, but I like it long to be able to do these updos. Oh, one more thing about my hair and the color of my hair. I know that sometimes it looks blonde in some light. Right now I'm sitting in front of a big window in the living room, and it's natural light. I have no lights on, and I know it looks like blondish, but my hair is pure white, and I have not bleached my hair or colored it probably in maybe 4 years, something like that. So it's all grown in, and this is me. Outside, I am pure white. So I kind of like the blondish color. It's sort of like what it used to be. Oops, look who's passing by, coming in from...
Outside, I'm pure tan.
He's finished with the outside. I think today might be the very last day of heat. It's supposed to go down in the mid-80s, so let's keep our fingers crossed. And I will begin decorating the mantle. I have the pumpkins and all the I'm not going to say greens, all the decor all ready to go up. And I have the clothes ready to start putting on too. I love the fall colors, and we will be doing some fashions. Several people have asked for fashions. So I think that's, okay. So now we're getting to the 2 biggies. And hang in there. You'll hear all about it right now. Okay, here's the biggie. We've had several comments, very nice comments, complimentary comments, and then the question about whether or not I've had a facelift or the knife has touched my face, that my eyebrows are definitely high, and that's one of the indications. Also about Botox and all the other things. So I'm going to answer all that now. No. The answer is no. I have never had any procedures, any facelifts. I don't even think I ever had a facial. If I did, I might have had one once, maybe back when in my 40s. It was when we went to Glen Ivy, and it was one of the girls' engagement girly things. That was it, just a facial. But no Botox, no retinol, nothing like that. In fact, all my products are basically Vaseline, castor oil, and the Nivea in the blue tin, preferably made in Germany, or greasy oils. I love my bio oil gel. I don't know why my skin is like this. Oh, well, maybe it's genes. I think perhaps the fact that since I was a little girl, I have extremely dry skin. As a matter of fact, that was one of my insecurities as a child. And someday I'm going to talk about all the things that I was insecure at. You might have some too. But I did have different insecurities at different phases of my life. And one of them was my skin. It was so dry and so flaky. And you know what? The rest of my body is still like that. In college, I'm so glad that knee socks were in because they hid my dry, flaky skin. The only reason that probably my face hasn't flaked off is because of all these oils and creams that I put on. And I don't just pat them in. I don't use any serums. Once in a blue moon I do. But I rub vigorously my Nivea, which you must do, and various other things. Now, you know there are 43 muscles in your face. And my thinking is, since we have to work out the rest of our body to keep it going and looking good, why shouldn't we work out our face with massages? And they have facial yoga and all sorts of things like that. So maybe that did it. But I know my eyebrows are very high, and I don't know why. I like it though, because I have hooded eyes, and it gives some space between here to make my eyes look like they're a little bit more wide open. So that's the scoop. And I do not take offense, because the compliments have been lovely. Only once when I was told that why don't I fess up? I'm being dishonest with my viewers. I was accused of that, and letting them know that I've had a facelift. And then that kind of that's not a compliment. That's just not nice. By the way, I do want to add this. I very much believe that if any woman feels that they want to, or they can afford to, or want to use any of the retinols or Botox, or want to have lasers or procedures or facelifts, I believe that every woman has a right to be able to do that, to feel better about herself, and I wholly support them. And I know many women, including some of our daughters who have had the Botox, and I support it. What else do I want to say? This week, we have a visit with our great-granddaughter, Brinley. This is our granddaughter, Bridget's little girl, Brinley, who is in 2nd grade. And it's Grandparents' Day. So we're going to go over there and have this little celebration with them. And Moosey and I are going to go out on the hunt maybe tomorrow to find some nice pumpkin-colored mums for the garden. And perhaps we'll be having a early barbecue with Matthew and his family at his home. They've invited us to come down one day this week, so maybe we'll do that tomorrow. I hope you've enjoyed this video. It's very different. I hardly ever do a question and answer, but I felt that it was time with all our new viewers to do something like this. And I thank you for being patient. I hope that it wasn't too boring. I hope that our channel continues to be a vlog about the lifestyle of Moosey and myself, on how we are aging, the simple life here in this 100-year-old cottage on the hill, seeing friends and grandchildren as often as we can, overcoming sicknesses and other things. We're trying to live our best life, and I hope it's not going to, so many of you are so interested in the makeup and the hair, the new people. I hope that you'll enjoy our true to life, real lifestyle. And today's not real. I have dressed up with my big jewelry, got a face on, and the hair is up. Maybe I'll be getting out. I do have to food shop. We're out of milk and all of those things. So I'm rambling. I better say goodbye. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming to our channel, for enjoying us. I am so appreciative. I'm so glad you're enjoying Moosey and his recitations and all the other talents that he throws in, and will never tell me what he's doing before he does it. And I just love you all. Thank you. We'll see you soon again, and God bless us all.